just gives you more reason to keep on doing more and more for the charity, doesn't it, really? Keep on doing a bit for them. They've done enough for us, so keep on ploughing some back in, really. So yeah, very brave guys, very commendable to them.
Like Paul, we're both ex-forces ourselves, so again, just like to give something back. We're lucky enough, obviously, to come. Well, I'm lucky enough, obviously, not to be injured. So, you know, giving some back to the boys and girls. Everyone's injured through a variety of reasons you don't know, or sometimes can't even see. So it's good to see them getting mended, getting back together.
More hills.
Oh, thank you. Lovely. It's nice weather. Nice weather for a bike ride.
Oh shit, hey, how's it going? You can blow that one out, I didn't know, you surprised me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good day, cheerio, lovely. I don't know what other English word there is.
What a beautiful day. What a beautiful part of the world. Got great company, Mandy's keeping me going today. Absolutely fantastic, loving every single mile. Mwah.
Sad, I was crying. I feel I've learned that actually you don't have to see the injuries because you don't even know you're riding with a wounded soldier until you actually speak to them to find out that they are wounded, because it's not obvious, is it?
No.
And that's what I learned today from listening to those two.
Realises everything. Inspiring. They just fight on, and you know, you've got to help them achieve that.
Honestly, I'm camera shy, I don't know what to say. Thank you for having me. No, so I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's not as hard as I anticipated. At the moment, people. Oh, I could fly up that, no problem. Carry it from all day today for 54 miles. Very proud to be carrying it in honour of some of my friends' whose names are in there. Very proud. Thank you.
To get to Paris at the start is 450 kilometres, so it's about 280 miles in 2 days.
Dodgy knockoff Chinese tyres.
Where did you buy them?
Well, Amazon apparently. But thanks to the Cycle Tech guys.
Which publisher?
Thanks to the Cycle Tech guys, we're all legit suddenly.
The lack of tax signs cast us some doubt.
Sorry, I'm not in the hill at the moment, Jim.
Hello. What are you doing here?
Well, you ought to go and see John because he's 2 miles off his 3,000 DA miles.
Well, you two, you must have done a lot by now.
There's this person keeps throwing up in the back of my taxi. It's been really, really tricky.
I'm coming up to my 3,000 miles in a mile time.
Champagne, maybe?
I don't drink champagne, Jim, thank you. I'll have a nice cold sip of putters, or a beer if you got one.
I've been struggling all day, so to make it, it's great, fantastic. I'm going to sleep well tonight. shower, plant, bed.
No, pint shower.
Yeah, maybe.
Bed, plant, shower.
Within 5 seconds of me lifting it back up off the ledge and getting it over the mountain, the vibrations were so severe that the back end of the helicopter ripped off. I don't know how high we were. I'd say we were probably 20 to 25 feet. We came down pretty much straight down. When we came down, my left arm was extended on the collective, pushing down because the nose had gone really high and I was trying to get it level again. So when we hit, all that force basically went up through my left arm and shattered it. Pretty much crushed my hand, snapped my humerus just below the humeral head, and drove the shaft of the humerus up into the shoulder where it still is today. Both crew chiefs were thrown clear of the airplane. One had a fractured pelvis and torn bicep. The other one, luckily, only had 2 stitches, which is good, because my co-pilot was knocked unconscious. She came to pretty quick, was able to undo her harness, but she couldn't open her door. So that crew chief, who wasn't hurt too bad, came over to her door, popped her door, pulled her out, and then tried to work his way over to my side. My door was up against a rock outcropping. He couldn't get to my door. So he went and tried around looking for me. Meanwhile, inside I was popping my harness and trying to get out. Because of the way the cockpit got crushed and the damage to my arm, I really couldn't get out. I was eventually able to pull my feet up underneath my console and kind of flop them across my co-pilot seat towards her door. But then I couldn't get out because that left arm was basically useless. I couldn't even really, if I tried to do anything with it, it just kind of flopped out of the way. So, trying to get out. As that was happening, the fire from the back of the cabin was starting to work its way up towards the cockpit. Luckily, it was above me because it was working its way across the ceiling of the airplane, so I was broiled, not roasted, and I also didn't get too much inhalation injury, which is good. About the time I was realizing I wasn't going to get out of there, and that was going to be the end of it, my crew chief made one last desperate attempt to come in and get me, found my boots, grabbed me by the boots, and pulled me out. And was able to get me away from the airplane. So again, if he had gotten hurt any worse, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I'd been burned over 54% of my body, obviously shattered my left arm, left leg, and I ended up with a whole litany of other orthopedic injuries and nerve damage basically because of the burns. So we need to keep this effort going. What you guys are doing is an amazing thing, and it has a huge impact. And it is an absolute necessity because I'm not dying anytime soon. And I'm going to need help the rest of my life. So I'm hoping I'm going to keep you on the hook for, I don't know, at least the next 70 years. Deal?
Yeah. These people may have needs and they may have very obvious difficulties. They may have their wounds, but so does everybody else. They're no different from the rest of us. Help for Heroes has this Hidden Wounds program, as you know. But there's no us and them in this, because all of us, particularly those of us who are older, have been a bit battered by life, have been scarred, and have got our wounds. And we may cover those with confidence and bravado, or designer clothes, and they may not be visible. They certainly won't be as visible as the wounds that Brian bears, and many others here. But all of us carry our wounds, and many of them are as a result of great evil. But J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote The Lord of the Rings, talked about catastrophic gifts. I wish that what had happened to Brian hadn't happened, but I'm so glad that I've been able to hear him today. Brian, you've been a gift to us, and thank you for what you've said and for the courage and inspiration that you've shown us. But we too bear our very small wounds, And let's hope that we can turn those into gifts as well.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today.
It's all the men, the efforts they've put in over the years for us and what's happened here. And as he said, you know, he's going to be around for another 70 years to be looked after. So we need to get the monies in to do that, really.
Very touching. It's, listening to the stories yesterday as well as today, it pulls at the old heartstrings a bit, and we can't forget ever, I don't think. We need to make people remember to stop it from happening again, I think, or try and stop it from happening again. As I said, wars always go on. The guys do their bit and we have to look after them.
Well, this is the site of Merville Battery, which it believed could fire onto Sword Beach, some 3 miles to the west over there. And it believed that they had 155mm guns encased in these concretes, these 4 casements along here. They did try to bomb it in May, but with very little success, and they realised that it's unlikely to neutralise it. But as it was actually in the area that the 6th Airborne Division were going to land as the eastern flank of the invasion, they thought that maybe the best idea would to actually attack it from the paratroopers who were landing on the early hours of D-Day. So it was allotted to the 9th Battalion, the Parachute Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Terence Otway. And the plan was that the majority of the battalion would land at about 10 to 1 in the morning after an advance party had landed. They would form up, but they would also be assisted by some glider-borne soldiers. First of all, 5 gliders bringing in heavy equipment like flamethrowers and explosives and even an anti-tank gun and mortars. But also at the actual hour of attack, for 3 gliders to actually land on the battery with extra flamethrowers as well, in particular, and explosives. The problem is there were 650 men in this battalion, and due to the wind, the flak, the anti-aircraft weapons, a lot of the troops were actually landed way off target, way from the drop zone, which was about 3 kilometres to the southeast of us there. And by the time, the original attack was supposed to go in at 3:30 in the morning, but by about 2:30, Terence Otway only had 150 men out of the 650. The 5 gliders bringing the heavy equipment were nowhere to be seen. But they got in, they attacked these positions, they actually captured the guns. They killed or captured 124 of the 130 Germans here, only 6 got away. But they sustained about 50% casualties.
Volontaire ou vétéran? Volontaire. Memory. very, very important.
His name is Dowie the Dragon. He was here last year. He did from Cardiff to London. He was the mascot the Help for Heroes gave us last year. So I brought him along again this year because I knew I was going to do this year's ride, to do another Help for Heroes ride. And obviously he's loving it.
Hello! You alright? Been involved for a few years, just helping out where I can. So we're on a team, 4 of us, raised about 18,000. So all good.
The tank that's behind us is Vedette, a Centaur 4 tank, one of the first tanks that rolled off of the landing craft at D-Day. Graham and I were fortunate enough to be part of a team that spent the end of 2013 and most of 2014 restoring the tank in time for the 70th anniversary of D-Day. It was inaugurated in June as part of a big ceremony here. We couldn't actually see the finished tank, unfortunately, because we were on BBR 13. So it's an absolute pleasure and joy to see her finished in all her glory.
We were kindly volunteered to get involved in this project, and what I knew about Centaur 4 tanks at the time, you could write on the back of a postage stamp, and it got to a stage where it became an obsession, and now you can write it on the back of probably a postcard, but it was enough to know how many bolts to put into the track guards and blanket boxes and get the thing put together.
Well, it's a tank which actually landed on D-Day, and there aren't many left in the world. I believe 6 of them are left, and this is the only one of the 6 which actually landed on D-Day.
I think when it gets really remarkable, when we can meet some extraordinary people, we meet people who know their main trap, their main fault, the main thing that trips them up. Call it their core sin, if you like. The sort of thing that leads into behaviour or problems that makes them feel embarrassed or ashamed. We all have one. We might not know it, but we all have one. It might be a need for approval. It might be a need to be in control. It might be something to do with our temper, or a problem with impatience. We might be selfish. But the good news is that, like our wounds, if we name these things, they can help to keep us modest. Like those great men that I've had the privilege of meeting here, John Howard and Todd Sweeney. And if we let them, they can teach us humility. And you might find that difficult to do, but the good news from my point of view is nobody's asking me to do that on my own. If you're a person of faith, if you pray, you ask God for help, because there's some things we simply cannot do on our own through our own efforts. So, what to think about as you cycle into Caen? Maybe to ask, what is the trap that's there in your life? What is the thing that trips you up? What is my core sin? And also that question of, where's my focus? Is my focus on me? Or is my focus on something or someone else?
They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, not the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today.
No, it's been wonderful, great day. Riding with amazing people, some few challenges thrown in with the hills, which is good to get that out of the way. But then to go to visit some of the cemeteries and hear some of the amazing stories of those people that have served and did the amazing feats that they did. So yeah, it's been awesome.
It has been a very emotional day, particularly this morning, hearing about the guys that had suffered terrible injuries. And it makes it very humbling to come and spend some time with these people and then come and see this fantastic place. It's been brilliant.
Last year I got wet on the Wednesday. Today I'm probably sunburnt. But what a day, absolutely fantastic. And it's topped it off by seeing these guys and especially Josh, who turned up after his accident. Top man.
The story we heard today from the American boy was phenomenal. It puts everything into perspective. How he coped with all his injuries and all that was incredible, absolutely incredible.
We think we're having a bad day and we moan, but listening to those guys and what they experience and how they've overcome their injuries, whether mental and physical, just, yeah.
End of a good cycling session and the start of hopefully a good evening entertaining session.
Again.
Again, yeah.
This award is considered to be our own top award. Normally we do 30 a year, that's all we ever do. You can't win the award if you're a member of Help for Heroes. You can only win the award if you've directly supported Help for Heroes or our beneficiaries. And we can't think of a better person to present this to than Madame Gondry. Madame Gondry, would you do us the honour of accepting this award?
This is what the cafe is, a meeting place where we all go and we think and remember. In 44, the soldiers, many lost their lives. They are with us in the cemeteries, in the same way as some of them are today. But it is fantastic with the medication